the dependencies and the lessons that we learn on the project all through the life. The stakeholder analysis, the task and resource budgeting would also be filed away in this folder. And that is stage 3. And then we move on to stage 4, where we have the implement and test stage. This is all to do with deploying, the final deployment of the analytics app, how it integrates into the iOS platform, the Android platform first, and then the iOS. So we'll have a detailed report which will have, so as of yet, because we're still working it out, we haven't put anything just yet in there.
Then why don't you just create the folders? Because you're using the software development lifecycle, right? So what you should do is actually create the folder, analyze, the folder for analysis, the folder for design, the folder for development, the folder for QA, and the folder for deployment. That's what I would do. Now, if you're using the agile methodology, then what you may want to consider doing is probably use the agile framework in terms of having the sprint planning review folder there, the initial sprint meeting folder there, your sprints folder, so sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4. You might actually have a sprint 1 QA, sprint 2 QA, sprint 3 QA, sprint 4 QA, depending on the number of sprints you have. Then you have your overall quality assurance for testing, where you go through your defect management life cycle. So you probably have a folder for that as well, and then you have your deployment folder, depending on what methodology you're using.
All right. The project. So this will be our guideline, and our initiating force, so to say. And the first line. So why face card? The background, small businesses in recent years, there's been a change in the way business seek to advertise. There are 2 billion connections being made between small businesses, between people and small businesses on Facebook, and their pages get 645 million views. 13 million comments a week.
That way you easily can target the best user groups and give them content that best suits their demographics. That way you get more traffic on your app. It also shows the engagement flow, lets you know the path that your app visitors have traveled, and what screens they've most visited. That way you can tell what content of your app keeps your visitors most engaged, and then use that power, use the knowledge to better your app and give them more of that stuff that engages them. That way you keep your users coming back to your app. It also gives you a good idea of the technical errors and crashes that happen in your app. That way you can keep an eye on downtimes and how you can